All right, guys, we are live at Fox Raceway, Tailgate Talk with Jo Shimoda. Thankful to be sitting down with one of my favorite riders to film, really, and one of my favorite riders to actually watch out here. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it. I think it's a good opportunity for people to kind of get to know you a little bit under the helmet and stuff like that, which is always a goal for you. But yeah, I mean, I think what I kind of wanted to go into is let's talk about outdoors. The season, we're well underway now. How do you think it's been going, and what do you think maybe you can improve on and kind of go from there?
Yeah, just 4 runs in now. I feel like I struggle. Like first couple rounds, I finished some on the podium, but just overall, I feel like I haven't ride like myself yet. So trying to figure some things out with team and myself and trainer, but I'm sure we can make it happen. There's a lot of races left, and then we'll just keep pushing.
Do you have a favorite track you're kind of looking forward to?
Honestly, my favorite track is Southwick and High Point.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's Southwick. Yeah. Okay, I can see that. What do you like about those?
Southwick is the only sand track I ever rode.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it's kind of my favorite. And then High Point is like really rutted, jumps, like up and downs, off camber. They got everything, know. So that's why I like it. Yeah.
So when you say that you kind of struggle a little bit with like the settings or the bike and things like that, like is it something that you enjoy, kind of the testing aspect of things and like in trying to figure it out? Like
honestly, not really.
Yeah. And that's fair.
Yeah, if I can, like, I just want to go out there, ride, and
and click off the laps.
Yeah.
Do your motos. I get that. Yeah.
Your programs, like sometimes doing a lot of testing, like, interrupts a little bit your program. So, but I mean, at the same time, if I want to ride faster, I have to figure these things out too. So it's not just it's a whole picture.
Yeah. And then the good thing is like the teams here in Southern California. You live out here, right?
Yes.
Or you live in Southern California. So I mean, the good thing is like it's not like you're having to do it where you have to go far and into a place that you're not really familiar with. But I mean, I guess like you have to be kind of comfortable going to a new place because you moved here from Japan. How old were you when you moved here?
Full time?
Yeah.
13 maybe?
13,
12?
So young,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
How old are you now?
I'm 21.
Yeah, so you're in like a very impressionable age, right? Especially as a teenager. A lot of the people, when I said that I was interviewing you, they really want to know how it was in Japan riding and how it like maybe would compare some of the things that you've kind of seen compared to like motocross in the States, right?
A lot different for sure.
Yeah.
I mean the amount of people that rides here it's pretty impressive. Like just everyone knows what motocross is. Like even I love doing Supercross because of so many people watching the race, and it's almost like not really a racing now. It's almost like a show.
Yeah.
So it's really cool to have people like that in the environment.
Was it kind of like shocking when you came out here to see the amount of people that rode?
Yeah.
It had to have been, right?
Yeah.
And did you like, was it something that you thought was a little bit easier to ride when you came out here, like with all the different access to tracks and stuff like that? Because in Japan, motocross is pretty big, right? Like it's still, out of all the other countries, I mean, Japan, that's where a lot of the manufacturers are, right? Like,
yeah,
so
manufacturers are from there, but I feel like the population part, I'm not sure. It's like it's getting down to a little bit like a minor sport.
Okay.
But it just like my dad's age, a lot of people know what motocross is.
It was like, more for those.
But like my age right now, the things started to go like like unknown, but if I can do something for them, like for the sport, it would be cool.
Do you remember at a younger age when you started? When did you start riding? How old were you?
The very first time was like 4 years old.
So young. right?
Yeah.
And then when did you start racing? Do you remember?
The very first race was 7 years old.
Do you remember a point where it was like, hey, I'm pretty good at this, and I do you remember like how that process happened, and when you're like, okay, maybe we need to go to the States?
Yeah. So I tell this to many people. The reason I came to United States is not because I didn't know what motocross or two wheels or motorsports was about.
Yeah.
My dad used to do the same thing that I did, racing dirt bike, and then, he had knowledge than me, obviously, and one day I came back from school, and my parents told me, okay, we're gonna go in the United States for 10 days. I'm like, okay, so we put our bike in a suitcase.
Did you really?
Yeah, and then came and rode. So
yeah,
and yeah, it was just pretty.
Where'd you go
chaos,
first?
to be honest. Actually, I lived in the Riverside.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Do you remember what track you went to?
I went to Milestone.
Oh, good old Stone, yeah.
Paris.
Yeah. So like a lot of those kind of
think.
tracks, yeah, those two.
Those two.
I was gonna say, what size bike were you on?
I was on 65s.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's a little bit easier to pack a bike in a suitcase when you're on a 65.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you're riding a 250 and you're packing all that stuff in. That'd be a little harder. So you came out here, and I think that was kind of an eye-opening experience. And was it something that you fell in love with it right away, or was it something that was still uncomfortable?
So this is another thing. Like I personally, I never wake up and then feel like I want to ride dirt bike today. Just how do I explain this? It's like I was like in the motocross industry, and I loved the people around.
Yep.
And then that just got me going, and then now at this point, I'm on like a top level team.
Yeah.
And then have a good chance to be like one of the stars out here.
Yeah.
So yeah, once I got signed by like big teams, then it's like, okay, more like take it as a job now.
Yeah, like okay, you have to like take things a little differently than you maybe normally have.
Yeah,
in the past.
I got too far. It's like I'm gonna do this.
Yeah. Do you remember the first time you met Mitch?
I seen him a few times, like at Mammoth and stuff, like when I was an amateur, but to actually get to talk with him, it was 3 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty recent, actually.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's always like, I've had a lot of people that they have either like really funny stories, or they have kind of like the intimidating stories, because he kind of wants to see if you're going to handle the pressure and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's got to be cool to be able to ride for a team like PC, right? And a lot of people consider that to be, I know that you guys haven't had the success that you guys probably want in the championships lately, but I think it's still one of the pinnacles of teams in the 250s, right? Which I think is cool. Yeah. And it's a good experience, especially, I mean, was that your first? That was your first? No, Geico, right?
Yeah, Geico.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. So Geico, and then you bump up into PC, which I think is a really good stepping stone for you. I mean, because eventually you're going to move up and you're going to go into the 450s, and you want those stepping stones. And do you think a team like PC was and is a good how do I put it, like a building block for your success as like a rider, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure like any team out there puts so much effort on riders.
Yeah, they have to. Yeah.
I mean, for sure there is pressures if you don't do good. I mean, no point staying in the team, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like pro circuit, everybody puts so much effort.
Yeah.
It's like it makes you want to do good too. Like not just yourself or just the team. Like we both want to do well.
Yeah.
So really, it was a really nice experience for me.
Yeah. Is Matty G fun to work with?
Yeah, he's really cool. Young guy, like similar to my age.
Yeah.
So yeah, we get along.
He's a good dude. He's always been super cool with me, and I always like enjoy just bench racing with him while like you guys are sitting out here clicking laps, and he's keeping track of your times and stuff like that. Him and I will just BS about different things, but he's a good guy. But it's important to have those good people around you. Yeah. You know, and do you ever have that, like kind of going back to Japan? Do you have that where you're like, oh, I kind of get homesick, or I kind of want to go home and see these people, or get them out here? Like, how do you kind of handle that?
Yeah, I do have that feeling. All of my family except for my mom and sisters are back in Japan.
Yeah.
And friends too. So every year I try to go back, and then if I can live over there, it would be nice. But
Yeah.
in motocross industry, everything is better here, so kind of no choice.
Yeah. Do you try to
yeah.
spend off season out there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then like as much time as you can, which I think is good. Do you have a favorite food from Japan? That was another question
Food?
that somebody asked.
I'm like, I love a lot of foods actually. Like I like ramen, mochi.
Yeah.
Like sushi simply is good. Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Do you, so what's your kind of expectations for the rest of motocross? You know, like, do you have like something where because I think you're definitely a guy that wins, right? I think you're a guy that can win races and that will be on the box and be podium and stuff like that. I don't think you're at the level where you want to be right now, but I think you're going to get there, you know, but is that the kind of the same expectations that you have for yourself? It's kind of a dumb question to ask you because obviously you want to win, right? But
like, well, to your question, like, yeah, I don't want to be too cocky with this, but at some point I think it's important to believe in yourself. And yes, I think if I ride like myself and do have a good start, yes, I can probably win.
Yeah.
Like I want to believe that, but yeah, to get there, it's not just. It takes a lot, you know. Like especially I had the injury.
And you got to work back from that.
Yeah. So like sometimes fitness could be off, or like maybe fitness is 100%, but like those small doubts in your head, like you don't want to crash again. Like it's so hard to get rid of this. Like yeah, I never experienced too much because you know I fall a couple times, but luckily I get out safely. But last time I fall, I just hurt hard time. But yeah, it's just hard to come back fully, not just your physical or riding with speed. Yeah, that's mentally,
Yeah, the mental aspect of it is such, especially in motocross, it's like one of the most important things.
Yeah, it just makes you think, another time. Like,
yeah, and then you have to understand like, hey, how can I get past this? Do you have anything that you kind of remember doing that helped you get past that?
You just, honestly, not really. Like, I feel like everyone's gonna think about it, but just over time it comes better, like, and better. So you kind of have to ride and then give it a time.
Yeah, and then the more that you just do the laps and you build that confidence as you're going.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So, I think the only other thing I was going to ask you is, I don't know if anybody's ever told you this, but do you know you float on the dirt bike?
Float?
You float.
What's that?
You just, like, whenever I see you ride, it looks like you're floating.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
I mean, my personal goal is like to stay light on the bike.
Yeah, you do.
But really tight on the core.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean,
it's like all I do is I sit out here the whole time and I watch you guys ride, right? And so it was one of those things where I watch him and I remember telling somebody, I'm like, dude, it looks like he's floating on the dirt bike. Like it was pretty cool to see. But yeah, I think Redbud's this weekend. You looking forward to Redbud with like how crazy the fans are there?
Yeah, that's why I shaved my sides.
Oh yeah, did you?
I look like a hybrid mullet.
I love it. Yeah, do you have like any like crazy fan experiences so far?
Just everything.
But especially at Redbud, because Redbud's a little bit more different.
Crazy. Yeah. Like I had some guys wanted to get my signature like on tattoo. Like,
don't get tattoos, they're for losers.
You get tattoo, like sign forehead, sign maybe little TDs.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it takes you like, it's a special bunch. Motocross fans are a special bunch, right?
Yeah.
But especially at Redbud.
Yeah, I love that place.
Yeah, it's a good track. That's a dream track for me to go to and ride and to shoot there. I think would be pretty cool. So, thanks for sitting down with me.
No, all good.
I really appreciate it. Go follow this dude, which you probably already are. If you're following this page, I guarantee you're following this dude. But cheer him on. He's a good dude. Hopefully Redbud is kind of what turns the page for you and you start, getting to the level that you want to get to. But I appreciate the time. Thank you.
No, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.